Going live in 5 seconds. We are live.
Hello and welcome to our Art of Living Children's and Teen Desk. Today's our topic of discussion is obsessive compulsive disorders. I am Dr. Ashwin and I am a surgical oncologist by profession. So let us first try to understand what is obsessive compulsive disorder. You know, it has got three parts: obsession and a compulsion. Now, what is this obsession about? Obsession about any thought, for instance, any thought which is repeatedly coming into the mind to an extent where it is disturbing our routine lifestyle, that is called as an obsessive compulsive disorder. It is very normal for all of us to have some thought which will keep on bothering us, which will keep on coming into the mind again and again and again. That is not obsessive compulsive disorder. Now, usually those who have got OCD have got simple unnecessary thoughts, like they keep worrying about whether there are germs all around, whether everything is neat or not. They have a set pattern of keeping things. If those things are not arranged in that particular pattern, they get upset. So that is obsession. I mean, they're obsessed with neatness, or they're obsessed with washing hands again. They're obsessed with keeping things in a particular pattern. So that is the obsession. And because of this obsession, they tend to behave compulsively. And this behavior is very easily noticed. Like they wash their hands, come out, and again go back and wash their hands. They have closed the tap, again they come out, and again go and check if the tap is closed or not. They lock the door and again recheck whether the door is locked or not. So this is basically what obsessive compulsive disorder means. Now, why does it happen? And in how many people does obsessive compulsive disorder happen? So normally, if you take 100 people, there will be at least one person who will be suffering from this. And our talk today is basically from for the children who are between the age group of 13 to 18 years of age. You know, 25% of those who develop OCD have started developing OCD when they are in this age group, when they are between the age group of 13 to 18 years of age. So as I told you earlier, it all starts with a thought. And this thought keeps on coming, it keeps on bothering them, it keeps on going on in the mind again and again and again. And they know that it is an unnecessary thought, but they can't do anything about it. So that is what is basically obsessive compulsive disorder. And as I said, it starts so early. Sometimes it may start even in children. You may notice that a few children have this habit of washing hands again and again. You can see these patterns even in children. And when we come to teens, it becomes a little worse. And when they become adults, it becomes more worse. The best way to treat OCD is to catch it in its roots when it's just beginning to happen. Just catch it and then you can treat it. Now, if it is so rare, I mean, if it's only 1% of the population, it is so rare. And so why should we bother about it? Now, as I said, the whole thing starts with a thought. And it is not that a person who has got OCD has only got OCD. These people are more prone to develop depression. These people are more prone to develop suicidal tendencies. These people have got more bipolar disorder. These people are more prone to go into drugs. These people are more prone to develop any kinds of addictions. Now, for a small example, there's a child who knows for sure that he is not behaving normally. He knows that going back and checking on a lock is not normal, or checking whether my pencil is put in my box is not normal. He keeps on doing that again and again. Now he is worried about a few things. First, if his friends see him, they start laughing at him. So what happens? He starts becoming socially recluse. After that, the next step is He may get depressed. Are we getting this? So it starts with OCD and it ends with depression, and then the other extreme is suicidal tendencies. Usually, this thing medically, this is thought to happen because of the lack of a hormone which is called as serotonin in the brain. And it is known that a fall in serotonin is not only responsible for OCD, it is responsible for a variety of mental health problems. So the best way is to pick it up as early as possible, and the best way is to treat it as early as possible so that it does not grow and it does not become a very, very big issue, and it does not lead to more problems. I'll tell you a small example. In one of the meditation programs which the Art of Living conducts, it's called as the Advanced Meditation Course. There was one person whom I met, and he was saying for the first time in his entire life, he could sit in one place for 4 hours. He has an obsession of going, checking whether the tap water is closed or not. He opens tap, washes hands, he comes out and again goes back and checks whether he has closed the tap or not. And he does that 4 to 5 times. Every time he goes to the washroom, or every time, or anyone else goes to the washroom, he goes, he checks that and he comes back. So that was the tendency which he used to have. And he had done the happiness program, and then he had done the meditation workshop. And he was saying that for the first time in his life, he was able to sit for 4 hours. So it's not that OCD is a disorder which cannot be treated, which does not have any treatment, and it is a very bad disease. No, it can be treated and it can be controlled. It's not at all an issue. Okay. The only thing is we need to understand how to keep these thoughts under our control. We need to make them understand how to keep these thoughts, how to regulate these unnecessary thoughts. All of us have got these unnecessary thoughts which keep coming in the mind and keep bothering us. And in a simple level, the first step of a thought repeating itself is worry. And the next step after that, a worry will become anxiety. And then it becomes obsessive compulsive disorder. Now, how do we know that a child or a teen is suffering from this obsessive compulsive disorder? What are the patterns that we should look for in a child? A few tips to know whether our child is having this problem or not. Now, if a child does things repeatedly, for instance, as I said, they keep washing their hands repeatedly, or he sets things in a particular way, he keeps his toys in a particular place, he keeps his books in a particular place, and then he does it again and again and again. In spite of them being in an order, he again rearranges them in an order. So these are the patterns that you should keep looking in a child. And when it comes to the teens, there is a very, very peculiar problem with the teens. Apart from having obsession towards neatness, cleanliness, germs, they have a lot of obsession towards people, situations, and things. People, situations, and things. Now, coming to people, they get obsessed with a particular person of the same sex or of the opposite sex. They may have an uncontrollable urge or attraction towards the opposite sex. And these thoughts keep coming again and again and again. And just imagine what the plight of that teen is. He cannot discuss it with his parents. He cannot discuss it with his teachers. He cannot say that I am getting sexual thoughts too often. I keep thinking, I keep fantasizing about this. He can discuss it only with his friends who are equally confused. Now, from where does this come? It all starts with some image or some video which the child or the teen has seen. and that is the trigger. Are we getting this? So the first step is best to avoid this trigger. The best thing is to avoid the contact between this image or video and the teen. So how can we do that? By regulating the teen's internet history or browsing history, or seeing to it that if you have a system, keep it in a common place so that you know what the child is browsing through. The problem is such thoughts coming is natural in that age group. This happens because of the hormonal surge which happens during the teenage. But if these thoughts are going to an extent where they're disturbing the child's routine, if they're affecting the child's performance, if their child's academic performance is going down, if the child's social circle is going down, if the child prefers to be more alone rather than being amongst people, if the child prefers more darker places than being in light, then this is one of the signs which means that he's having some thought which is bothering him. It may or may not be related to a sexual aspect. So these are the signs which can be seen in a teenager, and this will have some amount of shame, some amount of shyness. They will feel that they are doing something wrong, and this feeling that they have committed a sin or they have done something wrong itself can become an obsession. I hope you're understanding. They get attracted, the thought comes, and then they feel bad about it. That feeling bad itself can become an obsession, and they start feeling guilty about it, and that leads to a big set of mental problems. So OCD is not a simple thing which comes singly. It is a package. It brings many things along with it. It brings guilt, it brings social recluseness, it brings depression, it brings loneliness. There are so many things which are attached with OCD. So these are the things that we need to keep in mind when we are dealing with a child or a teen for that matter. And there are so many teenagers who come to us after having done the Meda Yoga level 1 program in the art of living, and so many of them have shared that they were in fact bothered by getting attracted to many things, or many unnecessary images and unnecessary websites, and they come and share that Bhaiya, after doing the program Veda Yoga level 1, we have found that we are able to overcome those temptations to watch these images, to watch those videos, and we try to avoid company with those people who do this. And there are children in I just came across a child in one of the colleges. Their father was saying that the child went back and told his father that I'm having such tendencies of watching porn, and I have just decided that I will stop it from today because it is interfering with my studies and it is interfering with my academics. The father was so happy that day that he came back and he told me, this is such a big thing. The child opening up about such a thing to father itself is a big victory for the child. And the trust of the father, he has gained the trust of the father, and it has led to a better bonding between the father and the child. And the Meda Yoga level 1 program helps children to come out of such fantasies. So let us just see how can we manage this obsessive compulsive disorder. Suppose there is, let us not talk more about obsessive compulsive disorder. Let us talk about a thought or a worry which is bothering us again and again, which is disturbing our routine, or which is disturbing our regular activities. What do we do about it? So the first thing which you have to do is keep yourself as busy as possible. When you are busy, then these unnecessary thoughts automatically drop away. Suppose you are extremely busy and you're only thinking about one particular thing, then these unnecessary thoughts will not bother you. And the second thing is a right amount of exercise. Now, if you are worried about children going out, if you're worried about the teens going out, the best exercise which you can give to your teenager or your child is to teach them Surya Namaskars. Make them do 20, 30 rounds of Surya Namaskars. That physical activity will really help them in not only being physically fit, they'll be mentally fit, they'll be emotionally fit, they will get the courage to handle these thoughts. Right amount of physical activity is very, very important. And the third thing, which is very, very extremely important for avoiding any mental disorder, is the food. If you can avoid two things, it will be really great. First is white sugar, and the second is refined flour, wheat flour. We call it maida in India. If you can avoid these two things, the impact of sugar and impact of maida on body and mind is tremendous. If you can avoid these two things, the mental health of the child or the teenager or of an adult as well improves so much that it will be a very, very big shift in their emotional and their mental health. And the fourth thing that we need to keep in mind is that find what attracts the child. I mean, attracts in the sense what interests the child. Every child has got some talent. He may be a good painter, he may be a good dancer, he may be a good writer, he may be he may have some creativity within. Encourage them to do at least half an hour to 1 hour of their day to spend time with that in which they are passionate about. The Center for Creativity, if stimulated, can create wonders in a child's life. And then one more thing that can be done is which is commonly called as the cognitive therapy, which usually is suggested for those with mental disorders, is that you set a limit. For example, suppose the child is addicted to phone, okay, and the child also knows that he is addicted to phone, and you want the child to come out of that addiction. So you set a limit that you're not going to watch the phone for more than 4 hours per day. And this you practice for a period of 1 week. And after that, you reduce that time to 3 hours. And after that, you reduce it to 2 hours. So this is called as cognitive therapy. Okay. This you can apply for anything. For instance, if the child has got a full-fledged OCD wherein he is very keen about washing hands or he is very keen about setting his things right, then you can tell him that half an hour of your day you can spend in setting your things right. That's it, not more than half an hour. Then after a week, you can reduce it to 25 minutes. Then you can reduce it to 20 minutes. So this is called as cognitive therapy. So you set them, you give them some time limit or something, some time frame wherein they can do. And as I was saying, not only obsessive compulsive disorders, all the mental disorders are usually because of imbalances in the hormone. And there's a very important hormone which is called as a serotonin. And most of these disorders happen because of reduced serotonin levels in the brain. Now, there are natural ways of improving serotonin: dancing, singing, swimming, walking. These are the ways wherein serotonin just rises on its own. A hug from a parent that can increase the serotonin levels. Meditation increases the serotonin levels. There is an institute called NIMHANS. You can even check it on the website also. There is and All India Institute of Medical Sciences also. These two institutes have done a lot of research on the technique Sudarshan Kriya, and they have watched the levels of cortisol, they have seen the levels of serotonin, and they have observed that serotonin levels increased after doing Sudarshan Kriya. Sudarshan Kriya is a rhythmic breathing technique which is taught in the Art of Living courses. And we have the Meda Yoga Level 1 program for the teenagers between the age of 13 to 18 years of age. And just 20 minutes of this technique, and you can see results like that. It's not only about OCD, it helps them to maintain their physical health, it helps them to maintain their mental health, emotional health, it helps them to focus, their concentration improves, their attention span increases, their immunity improves. There's so many benefits of Sudarshan Kriya. You can check it on the website. The, there are so many researches which has been done. So just to sum it up, if you are having a thought which is repeatedly coming again and again and again, does it mean that you have got OCD? The answer is no. If it's an unnecessary thought, you know that it is unnecessary, you know that you have stopped the tap, or you know that this what I am doing right now is unnecessary, but still you are compelled to do it, then that is called as OCD. A little lower version of OCD is anxiety. That means a fear of losing something or a fear of something bad happening. And a little lower than that is worry. And a little lower than that is a thought which is coming again and again and again. So this is the way in which you end up having OCD. And remember, 25%, suppose there are 100 people with OCD, 25 of them have started their OCD when they were 8-year-old or a 10-year-old, and 50% of them were between the age group of 14 to 18 years of age. So it is very, very important that we catch them early and treat them early so that they don't end up with major issues. And how can we help them? Encourage them to have good food, avoid sugar and maida, encourage them to go for a walk or swimming or dancing, singing, whatever their interests are. Encourage them to be creative. Encourage them to do practice at least 20 minutes of meditation every day, and teach them a few breathing techniques, pranayama, Sudarshan Kriya. And these things will definitely help them to come out of the obsessive compulsive disorder. Hope this video helps you. Thank you.